Expenditure for feeding of Ghanaian supporters in Brazil raised eyebrows on Thursday at the commission when Mrs. Gertrude Kwashiga, a chief executive of one of the companies, Amber Quality Foods, that were contracted, said, well, officials bought the food stuff or the produce for them to use in cooking, and the price list they brought, she said, was not something she thought was tenable.
Well, the commission is doing its job, and I want to commend them. And indeed, I am happy about the new 10. My brother on my left, he should have been on my right because they belong to the right. My brother on my left, despite that, he's a right wing. You remember when there was an issue about a probe into what happened at our fiasco at the World Cup. It was such that we almost reached a stalemate, a hiatus, where they were of the opinion that a parliamentary committee should take up the issue, and that minister even came up with a three-man committee. The president thought that it was wise to put up a commission that will have the power of a high court to subpoena people to give evidence where necessary. And I had come out to say that I don't have confidence in a parliamentary committee for what we have known parliament itself to be. I mean, you heard Honorable Bagbin saying that parliament is corrupt. You heard PCO Fori saying that parliament can take up money and auction our national interests. With such going on in parliament, I'm not sure that it is the institution to do a thorough investigation into this matter. So I am excited that it takes a judicial wing, a judicial angle, so that we are able to get into this matter. And I'm happy that he sits by me and said that, look, he likes the posture of the judge, and this is a court of appeals judge, and therefore, having risen to this height, it's obvious that he has a certain level of integrity and merit that will characterize it. So far, I think that they've been able to conduct themselves to the admiration of the public. There are journalists that have gone there that have started begging and, you know, retracting everything that they said prior to the sitting. There are individuals that said so many things in public, and when they went to the commission, we've seen a different twist to the events. I have heard the issue about the food, and that there were about 3 or so groups that attended. There was a 34 Ghana cedi from Kenke Boutique. There was $74 from another caterer. There was 75 from another caterer. And then, listening to their responses, we are told that they decided to strike an average, and therefore they got $35 for each of the caterers. Now, I bring my bid, and I say that I'll be able to deliver a certain quality, a certain quantity, a certain specification on this price. Okay? Then you go and strike it into an average, taking other people's too. It's possible that by what you have done, I will not be able to deliver the quality that you have asked me. Because if I'm looking for $74, $75, and you are giving me $35, are you cutting on the quality? Are you cutting on the quantity? Are you cutting on the specifications that I brought in? If I am saying that I can do it at 34 Ghana cedis, that is about $14, and you say that you are giving me $35, are you increasing my quality? Are you increasing my quantity? And what is it, the specifications that you have? And I'm sure that these are some of the areas that I think that a number of issues have come up. But it's important that the commission is doing its work. I am happy that the commission is not listening to the so-called letters that FIFA has written to the GFA. As I have said, most of the members of the GFA Management Committee also own clubs. They have managements in their various clubs. If their clubs are not doing well, they will have to call management. They may even sack management. They will bring in new persons to run their clubs. The clubs for the nation is the national teams. And we have entrusted the national teams to the Ghana Football Association to manage for us, just as they also entrust their clubs into certain management. If there are problems with our national teams, our clubs, it is important to go into the bottom of this matter. FIFA is not sitting there and saying that we don't have a right to choose who should manage our clubs for us, to determine whether the management they have done is correct. I think that it is unacceptable. Secondly, when FIFA is coming into your country. It is state protocol. The nation has to dispense. The nation have to spend on the behalf of the Football Association. We give them all the courtesies that we want to, they want us to give them. But when there is a problem, FIFA say take your hand off. It was our courtesies that took a presidential jet to take money to Brazil. Was it FIFA that came and airlifted the money to Brazil? It was us that had to contract all these people to do what is being done. So the nation has a lot at stake. And I just want to hope, and you know, that when the Black Stars even equalized against the Ugandans, if you took the pulse of our nation, it was that the penalty was a stolen penalty for us. People were actually in for the Black Star to lose. This is happening for the first time in Ghana. When we went and beat Togo, people are not excited that Togo had to stay for us to win. People just don't want to even hear about the Black Stars. You can see the bitterness of our nation, and people must not take this as a joke. People invested almost their hopes, everything into the Black Stars. For the Black Stars to go and perform that abysmal cannot just be a joke.
But then raises issues because as far as we're concerned, we've had people who have come also before the commission who said they did the genuine work. They gave their heart out to the nation, and I guess the mudslinging and all the negative comments that are made about efforts made also by individuals should not be something that we should condone. Would you just
well, at the end of the day, we have a commission set up to investigate these matters. At the end of the day, they would submit a report. Every Ghanaian would get to know who did who did the right thing, who did the wrong thing. We would get to know. So people should not be that worried. I mean, we had some expectations at Brazil. We felt that, I mean, looking at our performance in the last 2 World Cups, we're going to see some glory. I mean, at least to the quarterfinals or the semi-final stages. But it did not happen. I mean, when you look at the managerial breakdown, the lack of discipline in the camp, the concerns that came, there were pictures from Brazil that showed that even our own supporters that we transported to Brazil, where they were sleeping. I mean,
that has been denied by the ministry, the former Minister of Sports.
But these are pictures, these are images that came from Brazil. These are images that came from Brazil.
The accusation was that they were contrived. These were
but if you go
staged.
to an airport and you have to wait for a certain number of hours or time for your next flight, you will have to be at the airport. So if somebody takes the picture and put on it for social media, I mean, I have traveled from places where you have to
wait for 7 hours.
Wait for 7 hours and what have you. And the only place you have to be, if you don't have a visa of that country, you cannot go out of the airport. You have to stay in the airport. Yeah. So somebody come and see you tired and you are sleeping and they take a picture and put on social media. I'm not sure that is sufficient to say that this is how
there were images of
in the hostels.
I mean, hostels and all that. I mean, that has been denied. Are you saying it's been denied?
Yes, those ones have been denied by the sports.
Images coming from Brazil. Our own Ghanaians, people were posting them on their Facebook walls, persons who were there. I mean, so some of these things,
you know my stance on the supporters. I have insisted that there was no need taking one person.
Well, you've always said that.
Yeah, there was no need. There was no need. I insisted that they should not say any supporter there, because if we go there, it is not the supporters that make us win games in those countries. Look, Azuma Nelson went boxing. In faraway Australia, there were only 3 Ghanaians who were wavering. He beat Jeff Finish in the 8th round. You understand? Well, and if you go to South Africa, when we went for the CHAN 2014, I think, why? The entire continent supported us. The entire South Africa, the entire stadium supported us. Libya beat us. What on Libya? They beat us. And I insisted that the supporters being taken there, while you are going there, how many supporters are you going to take to fill a 60,000?
Well, it's not a business. It's not a business model.
Now, but Davis, I was asking you about what you think about sometimes some of the negative comments and the perception that is raised that whoever was part of organizing the World Cup or making sure that the supporters had a very good stay in Brazil may have perpetrated a certain wrong, because some of them genuinely did work.
Well, yes, you may say that, but at the end of the day, we are all privy to what is happening. I mean, it is live on TV. If you did an excellent job, I mean, per the questions from the panel, they will get to know that yes, this was somebody who genuinely went there to serve the nation. We've seen 34 Ghana cedis being, I mean, being quoted in dollars
average.
now, and
average. They said they said realistically they thought that 34 Ghana cedis couldn't have fed people a person Monday morning to.
That was $14. That was $14 that Kinky Boutique quoted, and they decided that look, you have 3 or more people.
You
so
think they decided they looked at the times.
I am the caterer and I say I can do it.
It's $14. So why
okay, now Bernard, let's move to the subject and let's comment about this for about 3 minutes before we take a wrap on this very subject. The coach now, we're told, has been relieved of his position.
Which coach?
Kwesi Appiah.
I think that he's not been able to inspire confidence amongst us. I have said that if there is anything at all, his decision to exclude Sule Muntari, Kevin Prince Boateng, Adams Kwarase, Michael Essien, players that are tested simply on grounds that they were not disciplined in camp, should tell you that he himself requires some level of management. And so the fact that they've not been able to manage the character of our players should tell us that they are not in, because other parts of the world, as I said, Suarez kept biting people. Publicly, they have come to defend him.
Balotelli is a difficult.
He's a difficult person, and Mourinho will tell you that he won Balotelli in the 45th minute and put him, and in the 46th minute he got a red card, and he was left confused. You understand? And yet they are able to call the player and go and sit down with him and put him up for the next game so that he'll be able to perform, because all they want is the glory of. But in our case, we are taking away the players, whether they are good or not. Go your way, because you have not shown sufficient discipline. And I think that I have a difficulty with that. I have always been an advocate for a Ghanaian coach. I've always been an advocate for a black coach for our nation. And I think that black coaches are capable of doing. Possibly we did not select the best, and the best was not in Kwesi Appiah. Maybe there are many others that are there. I just do hope, I'm not going to mention names, that will be able to sort out. That we have brought in Milo. It's a problem for me. Recall in 2010 when we took one of them, was it Milo, that went to the World Cup with
South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa. And we beat Serbia. You saw his attitude. He will not even congratulate our players. You understand? That tell you. So if tomorrow we are able to leap into the next stage and we are meeting the country of the coach, what happened?
So is it that we've not given our local coaches enough support? I mean, because
Milo is going to be paid 50,000. Kwesi Appiah was paid 20,000 or less.
After he got a review, he got a review
to 20,000
to
30,000.
Yeah,
that aside, I mean, we were told that we're going to appoint a technical director for the Black Stars, and the coach Kwesi Appiah said that he did not know anything about it. So is it that we really don't respect our local coaches? That is what I, because
well, he signed a contract,
I mean,
so he'll go for damages.
Yes, $800,000.
But I think that Kwesi Appiah did not show that strength. That yes, I'm a coach and I can be in charge.
And I think that the caliber of the coach that can manage a senior team.
That is his problem. I hear that yesterday.
Was he overwhelmed by the caliber of the players? Because many of the players, some had won Champions League, some had won.
Well, I would be surprised, because he's been the deputy coach. I mean, he's been the assistant coach to the Black Stars.
To the same Milo.
To the same Milo and some other coaches who have come into that. And he's been working with the same players. So I'd be surprised if he was overwhelmed with the caliber of players that we have. But I think that it is a Ghana thing. I mean, I'm sure that the GFA did not also give him that needed support.
Is that true? When Kwesi Appiah was appointed, the whole of the country, and indeed when he went to the last tournament that was, is it Equatorial Guinea, Gabon? The whole of Africa was behind the Black Stars because we had appointed a black person who was supposed to be the coach for us.
I am talking about decision making. I mean,
in terms of what?
Because
you only get support based on your work on the field.
For instance, if you appoint a technical director without the knowledge of your substantive coach, it tells you, because you need to sit down with him. I mean, reasons why you would want to appoint a technical director. If these things today, Milo is now the coach of our country. Milo is the coach now. I mean, are you telling me the GFA can take decisions for Milo? It won't happen. It is not going to accept.
Okay, so that's where we bring our discussions for the morning and to an end. And we have had in the studio Bernard Mona, General Secretary of the PNC and also a development economist by training. David Sopoku, spokesperson Alliance for Accountable Governance, and thanks for joining me, the two of you. You've had
David, is he an engineer?
No. I am a lab technician.
He's a biochemist or biotechnologist.
So they should tell you that you're a biochemist. So I will know that I'm safe.
But it's just because I happen to know yours. I'm sorry.
I know you've been reading about it.
Okay, so that'll be it for now. We're taking a break. When we come back, we have a lot more for you on the M Show.